So we'll be comparing Floyd Mayweather's shoulder roll and Adrien Broner's. As you can see, Broner starts the fight out with Maidana doing the shoulder roll, which is a major difference. Floyd Mayweather actually doesn't start any of his fights using the shoulder roll. In this clip right here, Broner gets tripped up because Broner is focused on his upper body. Floyd Mayweather, when he does the shoulder roll, he incorporates his entire body, particularly his feet. So he's not just going to be moving the upper body most of the time. He'll be moving backwards or to the side while rolling the punches. If Broner was moving his feet, he doesn't get clipped in this clip. No pun intended. In a situation such as this one, Broner is getting moved back. Typically, Floyd Mayweather in the same situation, he wouldn't be getting moved back to the ropes. He will be actively moving himself to the ropes, and he'll have a lot better posture. Broner is still moving his upper body before moving his lower body. It's the equivalent of somebody playing basketball with their hands instead of their feet. So now Broner pushes off, which is good, gets some space for himself. He's still a little bit too tall. Sometimes Floyd is tall as well. That happens when you're doing the shoulder roll. But it's best to be low and with a strong base. And then Broner, he resets. And after he resets, the shoulder roll that he's doing gets cleaner. So it was a good reset. So you find some similarities in Broner and Floyd's shoulder roll. Broner sneakily is holding one of Maidana's hands. You're supposed to do that so that way the opponent only has one hand. Referee really can't see it from that range. Broner's now rolling his upper body, getting low. Then he comes back up high and pushes Maidana in the neck. You're supposed to do things like that, but that's a little bit visibly dirty. That's something that he could be warned about, but it is what it is. So now Broner rolls down into that front door and ends up clinching Maidana. One thing that's a big difference between him and Floyd is that Broner hasn't thrown any punches. He's been completely on the defense. When Floyd does a shoulder roll, he's still actively looking to counter, much like a James Toney. Now we see Broner finally put that guard up, but he leans back like Fat Joe, and he pretty much gets ran around the ring by Maidana. So it looks like he's being stalked. And while he's being stalked, he's not throwing any punches. So after the fight, when he's like, I did exactly what Floyd did. I did exactly. No, you did it, my brother. Under pressure. Adrien Broner dipping shots, little arm block here and there, pushing Maidana out at the opportune time, making sure he doesn't take punishment, but he's not scoring. But the defense is good, you can't hate on it. So he's clinching, he's pushing Maidana up against the ropes. Then they're back center ring. Maidana lands a jab to the body. Adrien Broner still has yet to really throw any punches. And then finally, he throws a jab to the body. So it's just great inactivity. Broner follows up with a missed hook, but notice he's only throwing, one shot at a time. He has his mind set in stone on defense. Then he goes back into that shoulder roll, dips down, and rolls out like Transformers, Autobots, roll out. And you see he took a little hook before rolling out, so he didn't get away clean. Maidana is doing effective aggression. Maidana has him back up against those ropes again. Broner grabs Maidana's head and sort of olays him and gets space, but notice Broner really is spending most of the round on the ropes, whereas Floyd would spend a lot of the round in all different areas of the ring. Ropes, corner, center of the ring, and control every area. That's called ring generalship. Now Adrien Broner dipping shots, Then he pulls back at the right time, makes Maidana miss the hook. Then Broner puts up that shell, but Maidana does what he's supposed to do and looks directly at that body and starts attacking it. Body to body. Then Maidana puts that forehead right in Broner's chest and continues to work both of his free arms. Broner's still blocking and holding, and he finally tries to come back with a counter hook or to slow Maidana down. Maidana ducks it and goes back to them baby back ribs, man. Once again, Broner doing heavy clinching, but inactivity, not punching. And Maidana is the one who's landing all of these shots in the clinch, working his free arm and fighting to get free. Eventually, Broner's going to push the man off, create some space, create some separation. And instead of going offensive, after holding him, he tries to hold him once again. Tries to initiate a clinch from the ropes. That's not Floyd Mayweather-esque. Maidana sees what he's doing, takes a step back and attempts to counter him, and then he jumps right back on that ass. Now, to Broner's credit, his shoulder roll from the corner is nice. His position is nice. He's leaning back and creating space where there is no space. And then he eventually is going to dip and pivot, and he does it in style. He walks off as if to say, I do what I want to do. You missed your shots, and now we back out here. I got my back turned to the opponent. I'm AB. I'm the man. I'm the problem. For all his deficiencies in comparison to Floyd, he is always much more of a showman than Floyd ever was. Like, he has that in spades. Now, he's making Maidana miss off the ropes. Nice little matrix lean back. Good footwork by Adrien Broner. Once again, he finds himself on the ropes, though, because Maidana ran up on that ass like Keys and Nicki Minaj. But Broner does what? He uses lead gloves to try to control Maidana's head and stuff like that. And looking back in hindsight, really, he's doing more of a Muhammad Ali post-exile game plan where you just let yourself get beat on and you keep it in the clinch so the punches don't have as much power. So a lot of holding, very clinch-heavy approach. And Maidana is still working those baby back ribs like Famous Days, but this is when it gets bad. Maidana finds a home for that uppercut. He splits that guard because Broner was protecting his ribs by bringing his elbows down, and boom, Maidana caught him with those uppercuts, and he caught him more than once. So shots like that are very damaging, very sneaky, and you don't really see them because you have your head ducked down. This is why it's not really good to be standing that tall on the ropes. It's always good to be moving. Even if you have to dip your head to the point where your opponent is out of your vision, the fact that you're moving, you're making yourself a moving target, thus making yourself harder to hit. Now Maidana back, down low, working them ribs, working that body. And Broner, he's trying to bring the elbows down. Hopefully he doesn't get caught with another uppercut. Broner finally responds with one little uppercut, and this is a major difference between him and Floyd. Floyd isn't just going to allow you to hit on him with his hands up. Floyd is going to make you miss and make you pay because at the end of the day, as Uncle Drew said, the game's about buckets. Whether you're on the ropes or the corner of the ring, center of the ring, you want to still be throwing punches. Now Broner tries to come over the top with a nice little hook. Maidana ducks it, but then Broner gets back on the offensive and gets back to what he should have been doing from the jump. Working that jab, working the jab to the body, working the jab upstairs because he's the faster fighter. Even though he doesn't have as long as arms as a Floyd Mayweather, Maidana wouldn't be able to stop him if he just took his time and jabbed all night. But it seemed like he had it set in his mind that he was going to be on them ropes and he was going to make Maidana miss and he was going to, be Floyd. Speaking of Floyd, right here, when he's doing the shoulder roll and leaning all the way back, he's catching with the elbow. This was textbook Philly show, I'm not a hater, so I don't sip on the hater aid and none of that. This was textbook. He's catching the shots, he's seeing the shots, and then he gets out of dodge. But you still have to score points. You still have to hit a man. You still got to land shots. And I think Broner was just inactive from his Philly shell. Like, he's not punching back. He's just rolling shots. Whereas most of the time when Floyd's in the shell, he's still looking to punch back with hooks or straight rights. This is nice, but look at Broner's feet. His feet aren't really in a good position when he throws that little hook, even though he lands it. But Maidana, if you just walk him around the ring, because Maidana keeps that guard up, he's there to hit all night. You could look at like Tank Davis versus Pitbull Cruz as a way to just keep scoring on somebody who's trying to walk you down in that way. You just keep touching them, keep tapping them, and you go from tapping them to setting up the big shots. Kind of how Floyd fought Cotto. And somehow, Broner ends back up on the ropes, man. But this time, he's actually able to maneuver and turn Maidana. But instead of getting offensive with him, he just starts humping him. My name is Humpty. Then he goes back and finishes the round out with one jab. I don't know if Adrien Broner threw over 10 punches in this round. So he's just way too inactive with his Philly shell. When you're in a boxing ring, no matter if you're doing a Philly shell, California roll, high guard, any defense, you still have to be throwing punches. So this is the main difference between him and Floyd, inactivity. So now it's time to compare him to, Floyd Mayweather. Notice Floyd Mayweather doesn't start the fight out with the shoulder roll. He starts his fight out with the high guard. He always fills an opponent out initially. So that's just a major difference right off the bat. Now Floyd gonna do this little lean forward where he puts his upper body, all the weight on his front leg to get Maidana to throw, and then Floyd leans back. So right off the bat, he's already manipulating his opponent into what he wants to do. He's already on a different cerebral level than the Adrien Broner. Now Floyd, back to the high guard, stays tall, and notice he's circling Maidana. Circling him, so Maidana can't just stalk him around the ring. And then Maidana tries to land a jab. Floyd stands tall because he's looking to counter. And then Floyd, he lets his hands go. Floyd comes out with a hook and forces Maidana to duck. So basically he stops Maidana's progression towards him. He makes Maidana respect him, and then he comes back with another hook that backs Maidana up. So just the mentality is different right off the bat. Right off of round one, Floyd is trying to score. Floyd right here pulls back on the jab, but notice that's the punch that he tries to work early on. Old school, basic boxing tactics. The jab is the best punch in boxing. That's how you start your work. That's how you lead into your combinations. That's how you control somebody with that stick. It's the closest thing to your opponent at all times. Note, Floyd making Maidana bend down again with the jab, and look how long Floyd's jab is. Floyd had a 72-inch reach. Broner has like 69-inch reach, so Floyd could initiate offense from a distance that Broner could never do. So Broner, he actually had to be closer to Maidana when trying to do whatever game plan he was trying to do. But Floyd could be all the way out there on an island and be throwing out jabs and slowing down Maidana's progression. Mayweather, Floyd uses his rear hand to catch Maidana's jab, and then Floyd changes levels and throws a hard jab to the pit of Maidana's stomach. And then after that, you see him in the shoulder roll position, but he changes levels even with the shoulder roll like James Toney. So they incorporate the entire body, especially Floyd. Floyd will even incorporate his feet and move back feet first, as opposed to just twisting his upper body and standing tall like we saw Adrien Broner doing throughout the fight. All right, so Floyd backs Maidana up with a jab, goes into a little shoulder roll position, and then he does what? Puts his weight on his front foot again, and then look at his base. He squats to a strong base, and he's forcing Maidana. He's controlling and manipulating Maidana to throw a punch, and then he's going to move himself back. He's bringing Maidana to the ropes because that's where he wants to be, as opposed to what we saw with Broner getting pushed to the ropes or getting punched to the ropes. So Floyd is the manipulator. He's the snake tamer, if you will. As soon as he's on the ropes, Maidana tries to hit him. Floyd tries to counter immediately. Then Maidana comes back with some type of a hook. Floyd ducks it, pivots, and he's off the ropes. So he's only there for like 2 seconds. He's not really there trying to make Maidana miss. So Maidana is going to have to actually up the ante to even force Floyd to stay on the ropes. All right, so Floyd's able to duck whatever Maidana tried to hit him with on his way out. Then Floyd initiates and lands a jab. Then Floyd throws a hook to the body. And now he's back to that shoulder roll position. Once again, look at his base. Look how strong his base is. And he dips into the front door, digs his shoulder into Maidana's abdomen. Maidana comes around, lands a little body shot, but Floyd pushes off with the elbow and makes Maidana miss his upcoming hook. Now here's Floyd with a long-ass jab, still stepping to his left. Then he comes back and Floyd is able to land another jab right in the pit of Maidana's stomach. Maidana tries to return the favor. Floyd's feet are too fast. He stays high, and he actually pushes off a little bit at Maidana's shoulder. All right, low lead hand, a little bit of an L guard. Then Floyd puts his weight on his front foot again, but this time he's going on the offensive. He throws a 1-2-3 combination, and since he was continuing with the combinations because the 1 leads to the 2 leads to the 3, Maidana is able to dip the first shots, but he's in bad position with his head down, and he's unable to. Floyd's still stepping and turning Maidana, and Floyd is actually able to land his jab. I just got a bad picture of the freeze frame. Then Floyd feints the jab upstairs by throwing out, like a long, slow stiff arm, and then he uses that to create an opening for the jab to the pit of the stomach. So he's controlling this man with a jab, with a hard structure and base, and with good footwork. Totally different approach to Adrien Broner, in my opinion. Here, Floyd is able to dip and roll Broner's hook, and then dips into that front door, stands up tall with Maidana, and then gets physical, pushes off. And Floyd's physicality is different than Broner. Broner did a lot of smothering. Floyd will literally push off and displace Maidana often, indicating that he's a much stronger man than Maidana. Now, Madonna dips down. Floyd throws out that probe stick or pulls it back, walks himself onto the ropes, and here's where things get interesting. Here's where we could really make some of our comparisons. Now, Floyd actually used the L guard here, and as soon as Madonna tries to rush Floyd, Floyd rushes him first. And look at Floyd's legs. He's moving his legs, right? Just like in football, when they tell you when you make a tackle, you keep your legs moving. Floyd keeps his legs moving while smothering Madonna by dipping into the front door with the L guard, and he moves Madonna back. So he doesn't sit there and gets hit. Now Floyd is standing tall in the same position that Broner found himself in so often. But look at Floyd's free hand. Look at how he brings it down to protect his hip, and sometimes he brings it back up to protect his head. So even though he's in bad position, he's still using his free hand to defend against Madonna's free hand levels. So now Floyd is going to do his back and forth lateral movement, pretty much a reset. And he throws that jab out there, stops Madonna's progression, makes him get low, lands it right on his forehead. And then he's back on the ropes. Once he gets on the ropes, he doesn't go into the shoulder roll. He does the L guard again, and then he pushes the L forward into Madonna's chest. And as Madonna tries to hit him back, he hits Floyd's L guard. This is a very physical form of defense. It's not really just, rolling your shoulders. Very complex, and he's interchanging between the shoulder roll and the L guard. Now here's a similarity between Floyd and James Toney. Floyd makes Madonna miss that long hook, but here's the thing. While Floyd has his back against the ropes, he's going to be contorting and rolling his body both on the left side of Madonna's body and on the right side of Madonna's body. And the entire time he's going to be a moving target. No matter which way Floyd moves his body, he's going to be moving. So this isn't even like a traditional shoulder roll at all. It's pretty much like catch me if you can. And James Toney looks the same way when he has his back against the rope up against somebody like an Adrien Barkley. So Floyd isn't always standing tall. That's the main point. Broner, he was tall a lot of the times with his shoulder roll, so he was, just ends up just getting hit. Right here, Floyd even extends his arms out and pushes Madonna and makes space for himself. One of the things that Broner did get right, though, is, holding the opponent's lead arm and holding his head and stuff like that on the inside to where the ref can't see. You see Floyd doing that right here. Just nice little sneaky stuff to slow the opponent down. Now, speaking of the Philly shell, I want to also examine Floyd's regular shell when he shells up. When Broner shelled up, he was kind of standing straight. When Floyd shells up, he does something that's distinct that I never really seen before. He actually looks like he sinks his midsection back. So it's already preset. He's already taken less punishment because he sinks his stomach back, and then all you have left is elbows. So he pretty much shrinks his stomach and makes it a smaller target. And that's just an advanced shell that he does. So Madonna struggles to real defense, and he's smothering Madonna all the while. Now Floyd is going to land a nice short hook, shell up. Then he's going to come back with some more counter hooks after pushing off of Madonna using the L guard. Floyd comes back with another hook right off Madonna's dome and goes into the L guard, pushes, makes some space for himself because he's about to get offensive because he has an active Philly shell, and then he just starts to open up with a bunch of combinations, short, sharp, and precise. He finishes the combination by pulling Madonna's head down, switching simultaneously, transitioning from defense to offense, and then tries to land a dirty uppercut while pushing the man's head down. Once again, Floyd, although he's skillful, he's also dirty. Floyd lands a few more hooks off Madonna's dome. They eventually end up brow to brow, Mexican style, and Floyd comes back with another body shot and another hook to Madonna's dome. So this guy is active with his defense, period. That's the main difference between him and Broner. He also has better structure, and he's always looking to score. He's never looking to only throw 10 punches in one round. Floyd tries to line Madonna up for a long right hand. With his lead hand, Madonna is able to dip that. And then they end up near the ropes. Madonna finishes the round off with a nut shot. And Floyd tries to land a jab before the referee steps in. And that's pretty much the video. I hope you learned something. This is the difference between an inactive and an active Philly shell, between a defensive low punch output fighter and a all-around complete fighter who has multiple dimensions to that Philly show. So Adrien Broner was trying to mimic Floyd Mayweather's game plan, but I don't think he truly understood the nuances of Floyd Mayweather's game plan. And once again, a good fight to see these same tactics is James Toney versus Adrien Barkley. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Peace.
I'm on natural high, don't cost got it. $1 million, no cum laude. 4, 5, 7, about 50, 11, figure bad. Just trying to touch my body. I got that thing in my pants, make it go ooh. Something different, I could get the, she drip and make it spit. I bet the neighbors know my name. Next door, cold kid, I got that, I can't even say it.